Here we are at A to Z Fence Supplies today. I have Jeff Willis and Rowdy, Brian from US Hammer, Rowdy from Northwest Quick Pull, and Jeff from Soul Fence. We did some training here at our facility at A to Z Fence Supplies. I'm in the No Mess, No Dig installation, as well as solar demonstrations with the US Hammer Pounder, demonstration with the Quick Pull post puller. In fact, we pulled a tree with it, didn't we, Rowdy?
We did, a couple of them.
Yeah, and then we built some solar panels and showed what different fences we can pair with the solar fence, so you don't have to purchase just solar fence. You can purchase sections of solar fence and then finish your yard off with other things. So, Rowdy, tell us about this Quick Pull. I've seen it before. I've been to other demonstrations you've done, or other places where you sold it. But you came and you did a couple things today that really kind of sets it apart. So talk to us a little bit about it, why you came up with it, what's the advantages of a fence contractor, or tell us what some of the other uses besides just being a fence contractor is.
Well, first of all, what it was originally invented for was to pull out the concrete footings. Concrete footings that pull up signposts as well as all types of fence posts, right? And I originally went on YouTube and Google and tried to, because I figured somebody else has come up with a solution for this problem. And as a mechanical engineer, or somebody who went to school for mechanical engineering, I didn't find anything that I thought was going to be adequate. So I figured I'd invent my own and give it to this guy that needed it. He come back to me and he says, "Look, I need you to take this to market now." I said, "Why? You're the only guy to ever ask me for it." He says, "Because instead of digging out one or two, and this goes right along with your no dig system,
right.
Instead of digging out one or two concrete footings to make a fence repair," he says, "I'm pulling out 20 or 30 of these an hour." And he says, "For what I charge per fence post," he says, "it's the most lucrative tool I own now." Now, after that, it was trying to get other people, and even today when we were doing the demonstrations, one of your customers come up to me and he says, "I was real hesitant to buy it because I bought other products and they didn't work, or they didn't work like they thought they should have on YouTube. When I used it, it broke or it didn't work. So I was real hesitant to buy your product, but once I bought a Quick Pull," he says, "it changed our lives. It changed how we do things. We're more productive, saved our back." He says, "There's no maintenance to it. It's not like a gas-powered tool where we got to change the oil and there's a lot of maintenance to it." He says, "No, it's just a lever."
I think a big feature that it has that fence contractors and whoever would use it needs to understand is the weight of that handle, the strength of that handle. Prior to seeing actual demonstrations and stuff with it, I would have thought that handle would bend pretty easily.
Well, it's made out of Schedule 40 pipe, and so theoretically it should bend. In fact, when we were doing our research and development, we bent a lot of handles. It was a proprietary design of how the head and the handle work together,
right, with
a stiffener inside, and then the angle of the head, among other things, then how it sits on top of that tripod.
Yeah, the audience should take the time to watch the video of we literally pulled out 2 trees with it today, and see how at no point did I see that handle flex, which is impressive.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. What did you guys think about it? Was this the first
Good.
time? Was this the first time you saw it, Jeff?
First time I've seen it in action, yes.
Yeah. Well, what was your?
I was not only impressed to pull out the trees, but also that we had the 6 inches sticking up above the ground, and you could pull the 7 feet of fence out of the ground.
Yeah, we literally pounded up.
I kept waiting for it to slide up and like pop off the top or something.
I was skeptical about that because I was actually going to jokingly say, "Hey, let's pound that thing so it's like 5-6 inches out of the ground and see if you can do it." And I thought it would slide up enough that it wouldn't do it. And we pounded a post in the ground almost 8 feet, and he pulled it out of the ground with it. No way you're doing that by hand or with any other mobile or manual equipment that I know of for sure. What's your thoughts on it there, Brian?
No, you would not manual, and especially not a machine, because it'd be hard to grip at that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't think you could choke that off with a skid steer like that.
No.
And then pull that up.
No, because
you'd have to drill a hole through it and mount a bolt.
And I've used the quick pull quite a bit. I taught at the AFA from the American Fence University. We brought the quick pull out when Rowdy wasn't there, and we pulled out postmasters, we pulled out the 2 and 3/8.
Yep.
We pulled out the 4x4s that we set in there.
Yep.
So it was a good time. It's a great product. It's a great
It
product.
is, and then when you think of it from a profitability standpoint, you know, that, you know, how many corner posts, gate posts and stuff, even like in our system, the no dig, there's not you're not pulling, you don't need to pull every post out, but you do need to pull out where, you know, your corners, your ends, your gates need to be, and the amount of time you can do that versus digging and pulling the rest of it out is just, on an average residential job, you can almost pull all the posts out with that, and by the time you pull one of the posts out,
Or dig.
or dig the post out. So definitely a great piece of equipment, definitely worth the money that you paid for it. As a contractor, you always want to do things and purchase things that's going to make your jobs more efficient and more profitable, and I would certainly say quick pull is definitely one of them that would do that. So if you don't have one, now's the time to get one.
Yeah, but US Hammer came out with this electric post driver.
We should have the music, do the electric.
That's
Yeah, but
it.
the thing is, I was so impressed with it, I went out and bought one myself.
Yeah.
I called him up
Yeah.
one day and said, look, I do demonstrations this all the time, all over the nation, where I drive in these posts, and sometimes it's T-posts, sometimes it's a round post, sometimes they're bigger, small, 2-inch, sometimes they're 1.25 inch. Nevertheless, I need something, and I need something that's gonna be user-friendly.
Yep.
In other words, I'm not gonna take gas cans and oil cans and grease guns with me. I need something that's not, I don't want maintenance.
Right.
I don't want a problem.
No.
I need something reliable that I can put in the back of my car, the trunk of my car. And
No.
Brian here said, there's the electric one.
No, and when we came out with it, we were actually aiming for a more balanced driver. Because anybody that's ever used a gas powered driver know that engine makes it off whack. So you know, we went ahead and decided we're going to do a balanced driver. We did a lot of research on it. We put the batteries on the driver, but then we found out that the vibration will kill them over time. So that's where the backpack idea is let's get the electronics off of the driver. Let's get it out of that violent situation, and so the driver would last longer. And then we made it hybrid because some people don't like batteries, some people like power, 110. So we developed a system to where you can run it off a 110 system with no more than 8 amps. So you don't have to worry about plugging into somebody's house and breaking their GC. Customer calling you back going, hey, my deep freezer's on the other side of that wall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, and that was one of our biggest things that we accomplished, and I think we've hit the milestone on that one for a great repair unit for an all-day use. You know, but like I say, always buy the right tools for the right job, but it's a dependable unit, and there is absolutely no maintenance except charge the battery.
Yeah, and I would say, you know, just looking at it, there's not a lot of breakable parts.
No.
Where a lot of gas pounders have, you know, throttle cables, plastic pieces here. You know, they have hex nuts and stuff that vibrate out at some point, and this unit does not have a lot of that. We pounded a lot of posts today. Pounded posts in the ground 8 feet. You know, so it obviously does the job. The backpack portion is nice, where you can put it on your back and not carry the whole weight of the machine. This is so much lighter than the actual unit because of the gas.
Yeah, it actually weighs in 10 pounds lighter than the gas powered version that we make. It weighs in at 35 pounds.
Yep.
Technically 35 and a half, but we just rounded up. You know.
Right. Yeah, that's a great unit.
And then we found out that when the installers go and put the backpack on it for the owners of the companies, they end up just walking down the line. and start pounding posts.
That actually makes perfect sense because it's not so easy just to sit down and walk away.
Yeah, and
come
a lot of people are
Yeah.
like, well, what do you mean? Well, it's on their backs. So they end up just driving posts, and before you know it, they didn't do it. They didn't set it down,
Right,
and you
right.
know that you got that one guy, and you got another guy feeding them, and they ended up just driving the posts.
Yeah, and I like the feature on it from the top where you have the handles on it, on like your standard one does, and you bring it down, whatnot. But then you get to a certain point, and you have the throttle on it up here,
Yeah.
and able to just go down with it, and that is so much more comfortable than trying to go way
Yes.
down like
Go
that.
going
Yeah,
down
yeah,
with the
yeah.
driver.
So it was. I think it was designed beautifully, and I think this is a great addition to your equipment if you're looking to increase productivity, profitability.
That's
Um,
it.
We're going to be carrying it. It's going to be in my package of
Yeah.
stuff we use.
Yes, sir.
You know, so awesome. And then last but not least,
Definitely,
Yeah.
at least I was impressed with that.
huh?
I was impressed with that solar panel.
That's
It's
what I
like,
said. Not
Nice.
you
least.
get a privacy fence that actually does something more than keep the dog in.
Wait.
It
But
keeps
after
the sun
years,
in.
it'll pay for itself.
And if you buy it today,
Yeah.
you get a free set of Ginsu steak knives. Isn't that correct?
I'm check on that, but
Yeah.
not enough you can't.
You might have heard that one wrong.
Oh, I might have.
Yeah. Jeff, tell us about the solar fence.
Well, it's a solar fence. It's a private 6 foot tall privacy fence. Well, you can do 6 foot tall or 4 foot tall. Privacy fence that generates solar power. 150 foot backyard will be about the equivalent of putting your solar on your roof.
And then some of the advantages about in the Midwest, for sure, but any place you have snow, is that, as we know, roof units are going to get covered.
They do.
They're going to shut down when they're covered until they melt free. And the fence actually is bifacial, so sun comes from both sides. And so when the sun comes up here and it's set up and takes sun in, it's still taking sun up when it gets to the other side where the roof unit is taking sun on this side. When it gets to a certain point over here, it's not really taking sun as much anymore. But it also, going back to the snow, is the snow doesn't sit on it. Actually, the snow actually helps reflect more light into it, so it actually produces more wattage when there is snow around it via the reflection. So those couple of things, I think, makes it sets apart from even just the roof units.
It does.
And I think it's in a price point that, we're not saying it's cheap, because it's not,
No.
but I think it goes at a good price point when you start comparing it to what it costs to put it on a roof unit, which
For
at some
us, it
point.
was going to be 60, 2/3 the cost of what we paid for our roof system.
Yeah, and you're never gonna have to remove it to replace a roof. You know?
It's
And
easy
it's
to
easy to
fix.
clean.
If there's
And it's easy to clean,
Clean.
great,
Yeah.
perfect, that's the other thing that people don't realize, those roof units, especially near bigger cities and stuff, they attract a lot of dirt and whatever's coming out of the air,
Yeah.
and that reduces the amount that the solar panel can produce, and so I'm sure you probably had to pay people to go up and clean it.
Oh yeah, on my
Yeah.
roof, I have a guy coming. I have a half acre of solar, and I was just telling him they have to come in probably every 2 months and clean all the panels, just because the way they pivot, they get so dirty,
Yeah.
and the efficiency goes down so much on them. That's what I was talking to him, and it's brilliant. It's a great idea. It's upright,
Mhm.
easy to clean, and plus, like I said, your fence eventually pays for itself from all the tax credits and the breaks
Right.
you get from your power company.
Right.
So it's kind of like a fence that'll actually eventually pay for itself.
And then we married it up with a couple different styles to show that you can get your solar panel, what you need to put solar panels out there, and you can do your rest of the yard in a couple different styles that look great with it. We used black line fencing. Zach, thank you for the black line you sent us. But we used black line fencing on some of the privacy, and then we used our ornamental aluminum fence also, and both of them look great with the solar panels. So it's a great feature and a great setup, so pretty awesome. All right, let's talk a little bit about why you guys are here.
Well, I'll tell you what. before we go any further there, I wanted to say that I was looking at, you got a CNC machine here that pre-cuts all those holes for that aluminum and the vinyl fencing.
Yes, we do. We
And you sell that?
we sell that.
So it isn't exclusive to A to Z. A to Z is actually a fence distributor.
A to Z Fence Supplies is a fence distributor. Yes.
And so you sell that to your local community, the smaller companies here?
Smaller companies, you know, some do-it-yourselfer type things. We fabricate everything that we install. We fabricate. Nothing's bought out of a box. So yeah.
How big is this facility? It's the first time I've seen it.
We got about 14,000 square feet, I think, altogether.
Of manufacturing fence
Yep.
supplies and materials.
Yep. And this is just the one. This is actually the size-wise, it's the bigger one, I think. Yeah, the other one's about 11,000. But the other one produces more. We have more product going through there, and a lot of the product we have trucks going back and forth to the two locations, and we'll go there and we'll pick up full load and bring it back here. Sometimes shipping on things are cheaper to ship here, so we ship it here. So we normally go with an empty truck that way, and so we'll ship it that way. We do logistically back and forth. The biggest majority of our manufacturing is in our Hartford, Wisconsin location. We have a doweling machine there where we dowel all the wood posts that we sell. We probably didn't even talk and see them. We got bundles of them out here that have the holes in them that we sleeve. That's how we put the wood in. Okay, so we have a machine that we do that with. That's all done there. All of our vinyl welding is done there right now, but we are getting a vinyl welder here. We kind of need that here with the other machine we got that we're getting ready to put up is the vinyl bender. We have a machine that we can bend arches with almost any vinyl extrusion that we get. And there's not a lot of guys that can do that. So it's something that we're gonna hit the ground running with soon. We have all the equipment. We gotta do some final electrical work back there. And then we will be starting to run product through it and probably burning a lot of product up initially.
Learning
until
curve.
until we figure it out, and then we'll bring those products online too.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So now let's talk a little bit about why you guys are here. You know, Jeff, why don't you tell us what attracts you to coming to a training like ours, other than we're in a partnership.
Well, there's that. And we're in partnership on the solar fence, so on the solar fence, so that's exciting. I want to make sure that we have installers that can install the solar fence, so that customers can get it. I mean, at the end of the day, we need customers using it, saving money on their power, being more power independent, and it's a great product that I want to see out there that people can use.
Perfect. How about you, Rowdy?
You know, I spend most of my life on the road right now trying to launch the quick pull because we are still a relatively new product. And there's not a lot of other products out there. And like I was saying earlier today, somebody came over and said that there are what few products are out there, they don't work as well as they could or they should or they don't. And so I have to come out to do these, and I enjoy doing it. I don't like the plane ride, but I like being here. I like, the shows. I like, coming out and helping the fence contractors and showing them that this is a legitimate product with 10,000 pounds worth of pulling pressure, and anybody can use it. There's not a lot of training that goes involved, but I think they do have to have the experience of trying it one time to believe that it works.
Agreed.
But once they try it, then all of a sudden that's a game changer for them, and it helps them out immensely, saving their back.
All right. How about you, Brian?
Oh, I always like supporting the no dig, no mess. I built the drivers, so of course.
Right, exactly.
Of course I want to be there. I really get a kick out of companies like you that offer the free trainings, to the locals, to whoever wants to come and see the product being put in. Meet another manufacturer of a product, meet another manufacturer of something that's new that can be explained better. I mean, it's given the fencers the more education that they actually need. And to me, that's that's priceless. So coming out here to support something like that is just great.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's awesome that, you know, you do that. There's a lot of companies out there. I deal with a lot of concrete companies, and they don't talk to each other.
Right.
The one concrete company can be next to the other one, and they're sworn enemies.
Yeah.
You know, and you get in the fencing industry, and it's a lot different. And it's a lot more, hey, how can I help you? You know, let's just make it together. You know, there's a lot of work out there. Let's just do it together. Let's get it right.
Exactly.
Setting standards high is a good priority, you know. So yeah, that's why I came.
Perfect. And I appreciate all you guys coming. We did this, and I've had people ask me why we're not charging for it. And I said, well, we're not charging for it because part of my goal is to build a better community and raise the standards. Okay? One of the issues I see in the fence industry is our lack of actual standards. Everybody thinks it's a standard. Everybody's calling things quality materials and quality installations, yet when you really look into them, they're not really that quality. I want to raise the bar there. I want to raise the standard. That's why we had many of our, you could call them our competitors, okay, that were here today that learned from us, but I want to raise that standard. And I'm going to continue to do things, you know, I'm not going to say everything we ever going to do is going to be free, but I'm going to continue to do things like this to help raise that standard. And I appreciate guys like you guys. It was a great bunch of guys.
It was.
It was not just educational, it was fun. So thank you guys for all coming here, and hopefully we can do it again. Listeners out there, you see the products that are out there, go get them. Go find them and get them. Thank you for joining us at A to Z Fence Supplies today.